full selection of springs. Your spring will get mounted to this bar that you use for your pendulum. We're going to measure, we need to measure the stretch of our spring as we add weights to it. So we need to find out what the starting position is, and you're going to take a clothespin out of the bag and put it at the level of the unstretched spring. Then we're going to start adding weight to it, and a hanger is 50 grams. That certainly wouldn't be enough. That's kind of crazy.
Should it just go up? Should one be fit? For masses, should one be 50, two be 100?
No, we haven't started yet.
Oh.
So you're going to figure out what weight you want to put on there to start, so that when you vibrate it, when you oscillate it, it doesn't go crazy. That seems okay. So if I'm going to start with 150 as my first mass, my stretch is going to be at the bottom of the second clothespin. So this distance in between here would be my stretch. Okay? My mass for trial number 1 would be 150 grams divided by 1,000, because we have to put it into kilograms. Now, you don't, when you get this started, you don't want it to go crazy, but if I just tap it versus pulling it all the way down here, do you think those would have an effect on the period if I just tapped it versus pulled it all the way down?
Yeah.
Did it make a difference yesterday in the pendulum when we pulled it back a little bit or a lot of bit? Did that affect the period? No, it didn't, right? Only the length of the pendulum affected the period of the pendulum. The same thing here. The only thing that affects the period of our spring is going to be the mass, because that's the only variable in our equation that we can change. So just tap it, and then someone's going to do a handheld time. And you don't have to sync it. You don't have to coordinate with the timer, say, ready, go. Just let it go, and then they have their phone out or a stopwatch out. Gets to the bottom of the swing, they can start. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. If you do like 5 oscillations, when you put in your handheld column, you're going to take your total time divided by 5, because we want the time for 1, which is called the period. So then we're going to add more weight for our next trial. So we do that. We changed our new length. So we move this down, and we keep going and going and going until we fill out the 10 rows. If you find that you've added too much weight too quickly, and you're running the risk of overstretching your spring, and now it's permanently stretched, then back off a little bit, and then maybe go back up on your data table in 50-gram increments if you do that. But you don't need to go crazy by like adding 500 grams or whatever, because all you have to do is just get it to tap, or just tap it so it oscillates kind of gently, and then just keep adding whatever weight you add, keep that same increment so that you have a constant or a uniform, and then just keep changing the length of your spring. Your handheld period, 1 column. Then once you find the slope, you can do your calculated column, and then you do a percent error column for your last part. Easy enough? When you're done with your first spring, just come over and grab a second spring that both looks and feels different, because you want to have, when you graph them, you want to have 2 distinctly different lines. So the only way we can assure that is if they feel, one feels really stiff and one feels kind of soft. Just get 2 that look and feel a little bit different. Okay? That's it.